Imagine a world where Rome never rose to power, where the Mediterranean was ruled by Carthage, a city of merchants, sailors, and brilliant generals. For centuries, Carthage dominated the Western Mediterranean, its influence stretching from North Africa to Spain. Their clash with Rome was more than a war. It was a battle for the soul of the ancient world. Carthage's wealth, strategic genius, and determination nearly changed history forever. The Punic Wars were a razor's edge. One different decision, and Carthage might have ruled Europe. Rome's rise was forged in the fires of this rivalry, shaped by the existential threat of Hannibal. To understand Rome, we must first rediscover the lost superpower that almost brought it to its knees. The remarkable story of Carthage begins far to the east, with the adventurous Phoenician traders from the bustling city of Tyre. These seafaring people were renowned for their skills in navigation, shipbuilding, and commerce, venturing across the Mediterranean in search of new opportunities and wealth. At the heart of this journey was the legendary Queen Dido, a figure whose intelligence and determination would shape the destiny of an entire civilization. Fleeing political turmoil in her homeland, Dido led her followers on a daring voyage across the sea, seeking a new beginning. Arriving on the sun-drenched coast of what is now Tunisia, Dido founded the city of Carthage. This new settlement quickly grew from a humble outpost into a thriving metropolis, thanks to its prime location and the vision of its founders. Dido's legendary cunning, famously using a single ox hide, cut into thin strips to cleverly claim as much land as possible, became a symbol of Carthaginian ingenuity. The city's natural harbor, protected and deep, provided a perfect base for ships and trade, setting the stage for Carthage's meteoric rise. Strategically positioned at the narrowest point of the Mediterranean, Carthage commanded the crossroads between east and west. This allowed it to control the vital sea lanes that connected the great civilizations of the ancient world, from Egypt and Greece to Spain and beyond. Driven by ambition and opportunity, Carthage rapidly expanded its influence, establishing colonies and trading posts across Sicily, Sardinia, and the coasts of Spain. These outposts became crucial links in a vast commercial network. Unlike many empires built on conquest, Carthage's early power was rooted in commerce. Its merchants and sailors forged connections with distant peoples, exchanging goods, ideas, and culture, and building a reputation for wealth and sophistication. The city's prosperity was fueled by the trade in precious metals, especially silver and tin, which were in high demand across the ancient world. Carthaginian traders became experts at sourcing, transporting, and selling these valuable resources, linking the West with the riches of the East. To protect its interests, Carthage developed a formidable navy, fiercely guarding its trade routes and outmaneuvering Greek rivals. Its warships patrolled the western Mediterranean, ensuring Carthaginian dominance over the sea lanes. This commercial supremacy not only funded a powerful fleet, but also fostered a vibrant, cosmopolitan society. Carthage became a melting pot of cultures, languages, and traditions, attracting people from across the Mediterranean. The rise of Carthage stands as a testament to the transformative power of trade, innovation, and human ingenuity, a city whose legacy would echo through history. Carthage was a republic, but not a democracy. It was ruled by an oligarchy of wealthy merchant families. Two Sophetes, elected annually, served as chief magistrates, but real power lay with the Senate, a council of elite nobles. The Tribunal of 104 kept generals and officials in check, punishing failure harshly. The People's Assembly had little influence unless the elite were deadlocked. Carthage's government prioritized stability and commerce above all else. The true backbone of Carthaginian power was its navy. The Kothan, a secret circular harbor, could house over 200 warships, an engineering marvel. Carthage's quinqueremes, fast and deadly, ruled the Mediterranean for centuries. Naval supremacy protected trade, projected power, and deterred rivals. For any challenger, defeating Carthage meant first defeating its fleet. Carthage's prosperity rested on advanced agriculture as much as trade. Nobles managed vast estates with crop rotation, irrigation, and fertilization, techniques centuries ahead of their time. Mago's encyclopedic work on farming was so respected that even Rome preserved it after Carthage's fall. The city's surplus of olives, grapes, and wheat fueled both population and export. Carthaginian society was cosmopolitan, merchant elites, artisans, mariners, and a diverse mix of cultures from across the Mediterranean. Enslaved people, often war captives, worked the estates and mines, but large-scale revolts were rare. Success was measured in wealth and influence. The state existed to protect commerce. Carthage's blend of practicality and innovation made it an economic superpower. Carthage's spiritual life was rooted in Phoenician tradition, centered on Baal Hammon and Tanit, protectors of the city. The Punic language, a Semitic tongue, survives mostly in brief inscriptions. Most literature was lost to Roman destruction. The most controversial aspect of Carthaginian culture is the alleged practice of child sacrifice, described by Greek and Roman sources. Archaeological evidence from Toppled, cemeteries with urns of infant remains, fuels debate. Were these sacrificial victims or simply children lost to high infant mortality? Modern scholars remain divided, but the truth is likely more complex than enemy propaganda. Carthage's culture was a unique blend of Phoenician, Berber, and Mediterranean influences, visible in its art and daily life. Its legacy endures in the mysteries left behind. Carthage's expansion inevitably brought it into conflict with other Mediterranean powers, especially the Greeks in Sicily. For centuries, Carthage and Greek city-states like Syracuse fought for control of the island. Meanwhile, Rome quietly rose to power in Italy, initially coexisting with Carthage through treaties. But as Rome's ambitions grew, Sicily became the flashpoint. The First Punic War erupted when both powers intervened in a dispute over Messana. Carthage, the naval superpower, faced Rome's relentless land armies. Rome, inexperienced at sea, adapted quickly, reverse engineering Carthaginian ships and inventing the Corvus boarding bridge. After 2 decades of brutal war, Rome's resilience prevailed. Carthage lost Sicily, paid a massive indemnity, and its dominance was shaken. The stage was set for an even greater conflict. The defeat of Carthage in the First Punic War left deep scars and a burning desire for vengeance. This unyielding spirit was embodied by the legendary general Hamilcar Barca, and even more so, by his son, Hannibal. From a young age, Hannibal was raised in the shadow of Carthage's humiliation, sworn by his father to eternal enmity with Rome, a promise that would shape the destiny of nations. As a young commander, Hannibal took charge of Carthaginian forces in Spain, quickly proving his brilliance and ambition. He ignited the flames of war by attacking the city of Saguntum, a Roman ally, knowing full well this would provoke Rome's wrath and plunge the Mediterranean into chaos. Refusing to wait for Rome to strike first, Hannibal made a decision that would echo through history. He gathered his diverse army, infantry, cavalry, and his famous war elephants, and embarked on a perilous, unprecedented march across the towering, snowbound Alps, braving avalanches, hostile tribes, and freezing temperatures. The journey was brutal and claimed thousands of lives, but Hannibal's determination never wavered. When his battered yet unbroken army finally descended into Italy, the Romans were utterly stunned by his audacity and resolve. Hannibal wasted no time. He unleashed a series of devastating victories at Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and the legendary field of Cannae. His tactical genius, especially his use of cavalry and ambushes, allowed him to outmaneuver and annihilate much larger Roman forces time and again. At Cannae, Hannibal executed the famous double envelopment, encircling and destroying a massive Roman army. It was a masterstroke of military strategy, one of the most complete battlefield victories in all of history, leaving Rome reeling and its legions shattered. Panic gripped Rome. Senators debated desperately, the city's allies hesitated, and the very survival of the Republic hung by a thread. The psychological shock of Hannibal's victories sent waves of fear throughout the Roman world. Yet despite his string of triumphs, Hannibal never marched directly on Rome itself. Instead, he hoped to break the Republic through attrition, waiting for Rome's allies to abandon her, and for the city to collapse from within. For a time, the fate of the entire Western world truly hung in the balance. The outcome of this struggle would shape the course of history for centuries to come. Hannibal's audacity, courage, and tactical brilliance nearly changed the world forever. His gamble remains one of the boldest in the annals of military history. After the catastrophic defeat at Cannae, when Hannibal's army decimated the Roman legions, Rome faced a moment of existential crisis. Yet the city refused to surrender. Instead, the Romans adopted the Fabian strategy, named after the cautious general Fabius Maximus, choosing to avoid direct battle with Hannibal's superior forces. They harassed his supply lines, wore down his troops, and slowly reclaimed lost ground, demonstrating a resilience that would become legendary in the annals of history. While Hannibal was stalled in Italy, unable to deliver a final blow, a new Roman leader emerged, Publius Cornelius Scipio, later known as Scipio Africanus. Young, ambitious, and brilliant, Scipio inspired hope in a battered Rome, and his rise would change the course of the war. Scipio led daring campaigns in Spain, where he outmaneuvered Carthaginian generals and drove their forces from the Iberian Peninsula. His victories not only cut off Carthage's vital resources, but also proved that Rome could win abroad. With momentum on his side, Scipio convinced the Roman Senate to take the fight to Carthage's doorstep by invading North Africa itself, a bold and risky move. Faced with this new threat, Carthage had no choice but to recall Hannibal from Italy. The stage was set for a final, epic confrontation on the plains near Zama, in what is now Tunisia. At Zama, Scipio's tactical genius shone. He anticipated Hannibal's use of war elephants and devised formations that allowed the beast to pass harmlessly through Roman lines. His cavalry, reinforced by Numidian allies, outflanked Hannibal's own horsemen, turning the tide of battle and neutralizing Carthage's greatest general. The defeat was absolute. Carthage lost its empire, its once mighty navy, and its independence. The city was forced to pay crushing reparations and surrender its ambitions forever. For decades, Carthage survived as a mere shadow of its former self, a city haunted by memories of lost glory. Yet, Roman fear and hatred lingered, fueled by old wounds and the memory of Hannibal's near victory. In 149 BCE, Rome's paranoia erupted into a final merciless war. After a brutal 3-year siege, Roman legions stormed Carthage, determined to erase their old rival from history. The city was razed to the ground, its people were killed or sold into slavery, its buildings leveled, and its memory nearly erased from the world's stage. Only ruins and scattered artifacts remained to tell the tale. Carthage, once the master of the Mediterranean, was reduced to ashes and silence, a warning to all who might challenge Rome's might. Yet the legacy of Carthage endures. Its innovations in trade, navigation, and warfare inspired generations. The wars it fought shaped the destiny of Rome and, by extension, the world. And the haunting question remains, what if Carthage had triumphed instead? The story of Carthage is a powerful reminder of how close history came to a different world, where the balance of power in the Mediterranean, and perhaps all of Europe, might have shifted forever. The lost superpower's shadow still lingers over the story of Rome, a silent testament to the empires that rise, fall, and echo through the ages.